Hi everybody, welcome to my Big Data Table tutorial. In this tutorial you will learn how to efficiently manipulate big data sets using R. I am Yuri and I originally created this tutorial in German. Now I translated it in English and I will record it so that I would like to make it available to a bigger audience. Sorry for my English, but anyway, let's get started. So why does it make sense to use data tables and to learn about it? Data tables enable you to handle big data sets fast. And when I'm talking about big data sets, I am not talking about big data for which you would normally use Hadoop or something like that. I'm still talking about data sets which fits into the memory of your normal computer or laptop. But still, these data sets can have a size of several gigabytes. That's possible. Data tables includes concepts from the area of databases, concepts like keys, for instance, in order to increase their speed. They make use of multi-threading, and they have a lot of additional functions in order to import CSV files or export them again, but also a lot of other functions which are fast by design. I think that data table syntax is very powerful and coherent, and as far as I'm concerned, I like it a lot. It's downward compatible to data frames, so each function which can make use of a data frame can also make use of a data table. And it's reliable and it's developed for quite some time, so it's stable and you can expect that it will also be developed in the future. What's my opinion? I think you already got an impression, but let's make it explicit. I use the data tables for more than 3 years now. First, I started using them because I wanted to work with bigger data sets, but I liked it a lot, and now I pretty much use it as a standard for all data sets, not only for big ones. My opinion is that it takes some time to learn the data table syntax, but it's definitely worth it. And yes, it's really fast and reliable. It's not only something they put on their website, but it's really what you can expect from using data tables. So what will you learn in this tutorial? You will get a quick introduction to data tables, of course. You will learn, for instance, how to filter your data, how to do data manipulation, and I will present it to you using examples. I will present to you some important concepts like keys and indexing. I will explain you some of the helper functions of the data table library, which I just mentioned. I will give you some tips and recommendations, which I just got to know from using it and which you can learn from the very beginning. And I will compare the data table approach to normal data frames, but also to the data frames from Tidyverse. So let's have a look at the table of context. As I said, we will start with an introduction. You will learn some basic data manipulation techniques, but you will also see how to use keys. You will also learn how to do aggregation, how to use window functions and what window functions are. You will have a look at a very powerful concept, which is the self-reference, the SD symbol. You will of course also learn how to perform joins, and in the end there will be a conclusion. Let's get started with the introduction. Before you can use the data table package, some requirements need to be set. You of course need R and RStudio. These are the versions which I used when I created this tutorial. Of course, by now we have R 4.1, but still, yeah, the concepts you will learn here are basic, so they also work for newer versions. And this is the data table version which is used here, but as far as my experience is, what you learn here will also work for more recent versions because they take a look at downward compatibility. I created this tutorial in German in May 2020, and it's a little bit advanced, I would say. So uh, I expect you to have some basic R knowledge. For instance, you need to know what vectors are, what data frames are, in order to understand this tutorial completely. But even if you have some struggles, just still give it a try. Maybe it will be feasible for you as well. Yeah, and of course, there's no warranty, so I tried my best to keep bugs out, but as always, I can't guarantee for anything. And here's the URL for the data table package. You can go there in order to see news, to see additional tutorials, to download the data table package, to have a look at the source code. Maybe a few words on the history. The main authors are Matt and Aaron. They created the data table package and they still guide the development. But by now there are many more contributors who wrote source code for the data table package. The first version was released 15 years ago, if you look from 2021 on, and it was released for R first, but because Python got so popular, it's also available for Python for quite some time. But this tutorial will all be about the R version. How do you install the data table package? Once again, I expect you to have R and RStudio that's already installed on your machine. And in order to install the data table package, you have two approaches. One approach is to use the source code down here, just enter it, execute this line, and it will be downloaded. And another one is just to use RStudio, go to the package tab, click on install, type data table into this field down here, make sure that dependencies are installed, although I think this is not necessary for data table package because it does not require any dependencies, but still it makes sense to have this option. And after you have downloaded it using one of these two approaches, you can load it. And as always, you need to download it only once, and it will be available on your computer even if you restart R or even if you restart your machine, but you need to load it each time when you are planning to use data table.